What up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Dodgers Territory on this Monday. We are happy that you are here. I am Alanna Rizzo. That is Clint Pasillas, the guy that puts this entire thing together. We literally could not do this show without him. Clint works very, very hard. I appreciate you, my friend. The Dodgers stink right now, but before we get into that, let's talk about the fact that our store is open, DodgersTerritoryShop.com. Go ahead and purchase something there. We appreciate it. Watch the show, support the show in style. You can scan the code. You can go to the shop. You can do all the things. Appreciate all of the love, you guys. Don't forget to like us, subscribe, tell your friends, all of it. I don't know what's going on with my internet. I will continue to work on that. Let's get to the big ticket.
Let's do it.
All right, take me through your thoughts. Milwaukee did the season sweep of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Go, Clint, go.
Yeah, it's things aren't happy. They aren't joyful for the Dodgers at the moment. We got some thoughts on that. Steven Nelson will also be joining us in a little bit to give us his thoughts and hopefully some positive vibes. But yeah, swept by the Brewers again. You lose the season series. Not a whole lot you can hang your hat on right now. Sloppy play, inconsistent offense, consistently inconsistent pitching. But it really just comes back to the sloppy play. They're not putting themselves in position to win ball games. So they're not putting together complete ball games. What are you seeing?
I agree with that. I think it's been sloppy. I think it's been lackadaisical at times. I think they've come out flat. You can't, when you're not hitting like you should be hitting, and your pitching is okay, you can't play sloppily. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what you think. Dave Roberts has a couple of things to say about this as well.
Let's hear Doc.
I think that the defense, the plays that I've seen, I think are lack of focus. That's what I feel. The Tommy play, that's just a tough play. I mean, to get to the ball, to turn, fire, and get it across diamond, and Freddie had a tough pick. So that's something that Tommy made a good play, but, the fly ball, the grounder, those things just can't happen. And recently we're seeing that more and more. And like I said, that shouldn't happen with our club.
That's the key thing right there is it shouldn't be happening with this baseball team. They top to bottom, we understand how good this organization is, how good it is run, the people they have in place. And to see the Dodgers just continue to throw up slop, something ain't right.
No, they just seem uninspired, if you will. I'm actually texting Steven Nelson right now again because he didn't get the link apparently. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm not ignoring you, but there is something that I want to talk about in terms of regression to the mean, right? So I truly believe that this is a team that by the end of the year, every team by the end of the year is going to come back to the mean, right? So however talented this team is, they will get to the point where they're back to where they're supposed to be. The key is, I believe, is doing it, of course, when you need it the most. And that for this team is at the end of the season. This is a team that is built for October. This is a team that is going to go to the postseason, obviously. For example, just singling out Mookie Betts here for a hot second. Mookie Betts is not having a good season right now offensively. And I think that Mookie will have the regression to the mean. And he will be fine, and he will get hot again. There's going to be a period of time where Mookie Betts is white hot, and then it's always going to even itself out. And I do think that's what's going to happen with this team. I really do. So I'm hoping that I'm correct on that. And we shall see. But they look uninspired. And I'm not saying it's lack of effort. Please don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I just think that it's just. We kept saying, Clint, going into the break that this team, Mookie Betts, this team could really, really, really use the break. The break didn't help. They just got swept by the Brewers at home.
The break didn't
did.
do much of anything for this team. Yeah, you were really hoping Mookie would come out, be on fire, and then of course he's changed. He changes the spot in the lineup. They move him to lead off a spot he hasn't been in since. He was hit on the hand last year, broke that bone in his hand, and of course he was a leadoff hitter to start the season. Shohei was on fire when Mookie was out, and Shohei stayed in that leadoff spot up until now. But it's not about, like, I agree, it's not about an effort. It's just bad luck. This is how season goes. It feels like a lot of bad luck and a lot of things that can go wrong will go wrong. We do have some perspective we'll listen to right now. Earlier today, Tyler Glasnow, a current Dodger in that locker room, was on with the boys at Foul Territory. So I really liked this conversation between him and Scotty Braun. So let's listen to Glas, and then we'll come back and digest that, and then hopefully be welcoming Steven Nelson soon. But let's listen to this.
How do you observe a veteran team like this that is talented, that's been here year after year, go through the balance of a tough stretch and saying, hey, we got to fix this and get it right, but also we probably should just be doing what we've been doing for most of our careers because the organization makes the playoffs?
Yeah, I think there's always like a point in the season where you're in a rut. Like we had one last year when I was here for my first year here. I know in 17, I think they lost like 11 in a row and then went to the World Series. So I think it's not like a super big panic moment. I think people understand when you're not playing good, it like sucks and it's not as like great in the clubhouse. And I think it's just at this moment, we're not really clicking on like any of the cylinders. And I think it's just kind of like how baseball goes. Like you could be hitting well, not pitching well. Then it flips around. Then the bullpen's dominating and hitting's a little bad, or defense. It's just kind of like the ebbs and flows of like things are good, things are bad, and then like it's just I guess like the law of chance or whatever. It's like probability is just like at some point all of them are going to be on a downswing, and it just so happens to be right now. But I guess it makes you realize like when you have bad moments, like when we do start to play good again, it's like it makes you appreciate it a lot more. Like you can't have like the good, happy series win Miggy Rowe speeches without like I don't know, just like appreciating when it's good and when it's bad. And it's just right now we're just in a rut, but we'll get out of it. It's still, we have a lot of baseball left.
I believe him. I believe Oppenheimer. When I tell you that it's the exact same thing as the regression to the mean, he's exactly saying that. Like, this is a team that everybody's going through a weird slump right now, but this team is way too talented. They're way too proven. They have way too many black types on their names, associated with their names. Their back of the baseball card is so unbelievably impressive. They will be fine. This team is still in first place. That being said, they cannot continue to get swept by other teams, and that would be an unbelievable NLCS, right? The Dodgers and the Brewers would be pretty incredible. That being said, I think it's important to realize, like, again, it is July 21st. Mm-hmm. There's another game today. They start against the Twins. Then they come here to Boston to play the Red Sox, who are trying to figure out their own way. But let's talk about what Steven Nelson thinks. But first, we have a word from our friends over at Foul Territory, and then Nelly will join us.
Time for a quickie break. Todd Father and I are going to tell you about Huel, but it's mostly going to be Todd Father because I'm going to take a sip.
Well, we're talking about Huel, 27 vitamins and minerals. It's a complete meal. Let's listen. We all have busy schedules. As Scott's sipping it down, it looks delicious. It tastes delicious. When we're on the run, we need something to eat quick. And guess what? Huel is there. All different flavors. Scotty loves them. I love them. And I love how variety packed it is. And we can eat them any time of the day.
That's right. Yeah, check out the website. There's bars. There are so many different flavors. I love the black edition. Chocolate, 35 grams of protein. There's strawberry shortcake, coffee caramel, cookies and cream. I can go on. And you get yourself 15% off if you're a new customer using the code FOUL at Huel.com/foul. Please see our description for the terms and conditions. Skip the stress, not the nutrition. Try Huel today for complete nutrition with the code FOUL at Huel.com/foul.
Hey,
I can attest. It is very good, Huel.
So we had Nelson in for a second, Nelly in for a second, and then he just left the link, so he should be joining us back again in a second. But
apparently he's on my internet plan as well. Yeah. Steven Nelson is there in California. We'll get him back in momentarily. Yeah. But again, I do think, I'm just reading our comments right now. Lasheva Jones, too many fans using emotion in place of rational thinking. Stephen Q, as ass as it has been, literally 2 games out of the best record in baseball. I think we're just so unbelievably spoiled, and we have this expectation that they're going to go 162-0, and we don't like to see lackadaisical play or lack of inspired play. Again, not saying it's the effort. I mean, this team obviously wants to win. Yeah. More than anything, that's their whole goal in life. But it stinks. But they're going to be just fine. And again, we still have a couple of weeks till the trade deadline, and we'll talk to Steven about that too when he reconnects with us on this show. But no need to panic just yet, kids. No need to panic.
I will say this is the closest I've started dipping my toe towards the panic. And I mean, it's about panicking just right now. I don't think, and I said this on Twitter and I've talked about it a couple of times today so far. I don't think this team, as it is currently constructed, and this is not going out on a limb, as it is currently constructed, is not a championship caliber team. We know the pieces they have aren't going to be there in a best case scenario. These aren't going to be the pieces that are in there on the roster in October. So I wasn't, again, stating the obvious and saying right now, you're not going to win a World Series probably with your Lou Trivinos and Will Kleins in the bullpen. You're not going to win a World.
But those are not the guys that are going to be running out in the World Series.
That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
You have to keep that in mind. You have to think about like this. There's so many moving parts and so many pieces of this like long-term puzzle that the Lou Trivinos and the Noah Davises and the Will Kleins and the whomevers are not going to be on your NLDS roster. Like that's just not what's going to happen. So it's going to be fine. You need all of these people to, but you need all these people to get to where you want to be in the postseason. I mean, it would be wonderful if the 26-man roster you went into the season with was the same exact 26-man roster, the entire 162 and the postseason. It doesn't work that way.
No, we know this is all part of the fun of baseball. It's about being miserable for a little while so we could all be miserable together and we could learn together. But I would love to learn.
Steven says he's been waiting. He's waiting to be let in. So maybe I'll
have him
Claudia here.
Have him click the other link then. He probably went back to the first one. He needs to be on the second one. Nelly, if you're listening.
Click next link. Click next link.
Hey, usually we're a well-oiled machine, but sometimes you know what's funny, because this is also a question I wanted to ask Steven about his skills with technology, because he had posted on his social media. I didn't give him the foul link, but anyways, he had an issue with his GoPro during that incredible World Series Game 5 moment where he was calling the game on radio for the Dodgers. I'm sorry, I'm distracted as we're trying to get the link over to him, but he held I'll let him tell the story when he gets here, which should be in a moment as we buy more time. How about we do this? Let's take another quick break. Let's hear from us for a second, and then we can enjoy talking to Steven Nelson. So we'll be right back.
Nothing beats relaxing on a hot summer day and watching baseball. And the simplest way to get in on the action is to download the Pick 6 app from DraftKings.
Yeah, it's crazy simple. You just pick more or less on the stats for two or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. Nail your picks, and then you start heating up. Pick 6 brings upside and payouts up to 500 times.
Pick 6 from DraftKings is the most fun way to play fantasy sports. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL for new customers to get a special sign-up offer. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
We are back,
so funny. Hang on, Richard Flores in our chat says Dodger losing streak is bleeding into DT.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's not wrong. Like we are a hot mess right now.
Listen, no, we got it all figured out right now because I know what happened, Nelly. I know what happened.
Oh, there he is.
When I
good-looking Japanese guy.
When I added him to the link, he saw the ad with Scotty Braun and all them, and he's like, "Oh, dang, I'm on the wrong show." That has to be what happened.
That was I thought they were still going. So I was like, I'm in the wrong place. So that was me.
All good. We're here. We're together, and we're all happy.
We made it. We
made it.
Stay hot. Stay hot, as our different EK would like to say.
Well, Riz, of course, everybody in the chat, this is the great Steven Nelson, broadcast extraordinaire for your Los Angeles Dodgers, and things aren't happy right now. Nelly, what's going on with this team?
Yeah, I mean, vibes are the opposite of high. I think that's very much evident. It's just, look, typically when you hear the dog days, we're talking about the month of August. We're not yet there. And some teams, they have their dog days in July. Some have them in March and April. And this is just one of those stretches during the season that every team, no matter how talented or how big a payroll or how many MVPs you employ, you're going to go through. And they are certainly going through it right now. They are in it. And it's every day it's finding a different way to lose a baseball game. And obviously everybody watching it is frustrated. So you can only imagine the guys actually playing it and how frustrated they are too. So they just got to, as much as you hate hearing the cliches right now, and I think you probably want somebody to just snap. And Kersh got close. Kersh got close yesterday. As much as you might want that, it's probably I don't know how productive that is. I've never been in a major league clubhouse as a major league baseball player, but I question how productive that would be, and I wonder how counterproductive that could be. So the problem is you're just not used to seeing this happen to particular guys for this sustained amount of time, and so I think that's what's left all of us kind of scratching our heads and being like, "Wait, what the hell is going on here?" And we don't really have the answer.
Do you think Kershaw was to the point where he said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and stop talking because I don't want to get in trouble because of the errors that happened behind him, because of the way that he was pitching, because of a combination of things? I mean, Kershaw is pretty composed for the most part. He hates losing. That I do know. I always hated him. I always hated interviewing him after he lost because that was like I was always scared. But, what do you think it was? Like, what was the impetus of that particular interview?
Yeah, and you covered pre-Dad Kersh. So you really saw the fire that he would bring into his media sessions. And it was very evident that those in the scrum yesterday were intimidated and afraid too. They did not ask about the defense. They were asking about his splitter as if that was the story of the game. And I get it. I'm not trying to throw shade. I wasn't down there. But listening to that, like Kersh is probably like thinking to himself, he'll talk about what happened in the game, but he's not really being asked about what happened during the game. And so I really do think it was just a shit stew, for lack of a better term. Like all the ingredients yesterday tasted horrible. So if you're talking about the way he didn't execute the way he wanted to, I'm sure he was feeling salty about it. Certainly more than justified in feeling frustrated and pissed off about the defense behind him. I was pissed in the radio booth, and I even had to on the air, I caught myself. I was like, okay, guys, I'm okay. Because Dwayne McDonald, our producer's laughing at me. James Loney was just his second time doing radio. He's looking at me like, are you all right? DV's laughing at me, and I'm like, I'm good. I hate bad baseball, and we're seeing it pretty consistently from the Dodgers outfield of late. So if Kershaw wanted to erupt about that, again, more than justified, because not only did it impact his final line, and at this point, 18 years in, he's still a unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer, but it also impacted the number of pitches he had to throw, and it changed the game. It lost the game. So whatever direction you wanted to ask, or whatever direction you wanted to take Kershaw in with the question, it probably wasn't going to lead to a good place. So him being the veteran that he was sensing, I'm going to say something that I might regret, whether it's about myself, the situation the team is in, particular teammates, the defense. So I'm just going to pull the plug. And that's, again, perhaps robbed us of some entertainment that we could laugh about a couple weeks from now when they're on a winning streak. But in the short term, probably the smartest thing.
Yeah, it's frustrating for all of us to watch the way this team plays. We know what they're capable of doing, and the last couple of starts for 22, there's been some suspect defense behind him. I mean, kind of behind everybody on the pitching staff. But let's have some positive, some happier thoughts when we're talking about Clayton Edward Kershaw, the future Hall of Famer, 3,000 strikeouts, and you were the man on the call. As much as maybe you didn't want to be the man on the call, you got that call because JD was out of town. Talk us through that, man. What was that like? What's kind of the emotion going through the booth for you? And at the same time, literally 30 seconds before the awful play with Max Muncy happens, it's just such a roller coaster. But let us know, let the people know what was going through your head on 3,000.
Yeah, Clint. So the context for your question is, at the beginning of the year, I'm sitting on the bus. I'm riding back with Joe D, and I say to him, I'm like, "Hey, man, like, when Kersh comes back, and if he's close to 3,000, and I'm the one on the schedule, happy to tag you in. I think you're the voice of baseball. You're the voice of the Dodgers. There's so many reasons that you should be in the booth, and I'm the first one to raise my hand and say that it should be you on the call." And he appreciated that. Little did we know that Kersh was going to speed up the timeline and start punching everybody out right to the perfect time where the Davis family had a planned vacation out of the country. And so, hey, you got to do your job, right? Like, it's not that I didn't want that moment. I just felt, out of respect to Joe and respect to Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers, that it would have been more appropriate had Joe been in the booth. But he wasn't in the country. So I, got to do my job. And so I, of course, love being a part of big moments and exciting moments in the booth. And so, yeah, I just kind of had to lock in on the task at hand. And the first chance was in Colorado when he was 8 away. And you didn't think that he was going to get 8, whether it was just pitching in Coors or going that deep into the game. Hindsight, maybe you should have left him in for. No, I'm kidding. But it really did lead up to like the perfect dramatic moment at home, last batter, not perfect. Correcting myself because of the Max Muncy injury, as you said, because when you see, like, just like Freddie yesterday, when you see guys that are tough as nails react in those ways, your alarm bells are ringing louder than they typically would be. And so to see Max writhing in pain on the ground, and to have our producer in the truck, Russell Kodani was in for Mike Levy that night. He's like, "We're not showing the replay," and I'm like, on my talk back up, it's that bad, like, that we can't show the replay? He's like, I just don't know. I'm like, oh, okay, like, Max is done. And so then you see him get helped off the field, and then you got to pan back, and it's like, oh, all right, Kershaw still needs one more strikeout. So it really was such a roller coaster. I knew going into it, no matter what happened, I was going to say very little and get out of the way. And so that's just what I did. I delayed strike 3 calls all night. I was like, this is also going to be a problem from the home plate umpire. Just looking for something a little bit more decisive and quick, so we know. So I was like looking at the monitor, looking out of the field. Like, that split second, it felt like 5. But it was just, just punch the moment and then let Dodger Stadium take over. Broadcasting, you're never going to please everybody. I understand that there were fans that were maybe wanting a little bit more, but that's just not my style. And I really do feel, especially in a home game, if they're on the road, maybe it would have been different, but especially at home at Dodger Stadium, like, this fan base, baseball Coliseum, amphitheater, Dodger Stadium is always going to say more than I could ever dream of saying. And so we laid out for, I don't know, minute and a half, whatever it was. And, the emotions throughout the ballpark, we were feeling it in the booth next to Ora Hershiser. So that was my approach to the moment. Again, I understand that it might have left some folks wanting a little bit more, but
nailed it. You nailed it. I was there in the stands, by the way. I had to be there for 3K, and the fans helped the call tremendously. So I was hoping for one more curtain call from 22, but he had gone out there enough. And we know how he loves those moments. He doesn't, but anyways, Riz.
Right.
Along that same thread, when he was mic'd up at the All-Star game, I was like, wow. I mean, I couldn't believe that Kersh said yes to being mic'd up at the All-Star game and really had fun with it. And it just lends me to believe that Kersh is really trying to savor every moment. Is this his swan song? I know he's not said it publicly, but is this his swan song? Is this it for him?
I mean, I hope not. I hope not. unless like the Dodgers have the storybook run and go back to back, and Kershaw's a part of that, and then maybe it's like maybe Ellen just takes over and says you're done. Maybe just makes the decision for Clayton. With Kershaw, kid number 5 on the way. But as a baseball fan, like we've watched him now going on 2 decades, and it's watching Dodger baseball isn't going to feel the same without Clayton Kershaw. But like I do think as the last all my time here, going back to 2023, my first season, that's when Oral Hershiser started saying it. Kershaw Day. Now it's Clayton Kershaw Appreciation Day. So that I'm approaching every time he takes the ball as a chance to savor what could be the swan song. The signs are there. That's the case. Of course, we're not inside Clayton's head. I don't think he's allowing himself to get there yet. Like he's just grinding through every pitch and every inning, and trying to help them put up more wins and win another division, and get into the championship series and win another pennant and win another World Series. He's not thinking about his future, but. I mean, just a personal story, Alanna. You talk about having to interview him after a loss and how nervous that would make you. I remember working at MLB Network in 2018, and that run to the World Series, I did the DS, and we those postseasons you ask for like 4 or 5 guys, and especially at the network you're probably getting number 4 or number 5, but you always ask for the number 1. And so we asked for Kershaw, one of the days I was reporting, and one of the PR members went over. They won this game, by the way. The Dodgers won this game, and they go over to Kershaw. I was like, "Hey, Kershaw, MLB Network," and he looks up over at me. I didn't take it personal, but he just looks over, looks back at the PR guy, and he goes, "F no," and he just walked into the clubhouse. I haven't told Clayton that story, but that was always that was my welcome to covering the postseason moment. But so it's funny about it now because that was the year he first became a dad, and now everybody talks about how soft he is compared relative to. But anyway, I just said you asking about if this is the end. I just remembering my experience with Kershaw. Anyway, back to you.
Yeah. My thing I've learned with Kershaw, running into him at the stadium or whatever, I just leave him alone. I say, "Hi, Clayton. Thank you for everything," and I leave the man alone. But when you have somebody else to go through, having PR there, then you're not the guy who has to get shut down and cry.
I'm just young reporter, like happy with my thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna get to interview Clayton Kershaw.
For us here, my secret weapon is that lady above me, Riz. Everybody loves Riz, so you just send her and be like, "Hey, can you get us this person?" And then things become things. They usually end up showing up.
Yeah, Alanna. That was my first time really meeting Alanna, and she inspired me to we got our dog. That's my connection to Riz there. But yeah, like turning me down. Got it. Makes sense. You're not turning Riz down. No shot.
A couple more for you here. Really, maybe one more, because I also wanted to slam both of you guys for your technology skills, as both of you guys have different struggling internets. This one's personal, I guess, for me, or just for fun. I saw you had posted on your social media, your Instagram, a little while back. What was supposed to be World Series Game 5, a lovely moment with a GoPro camera capturing the final call, and you couldn't GoPro, right?
Okay. So definitely the head of GoPro design, I'm fighting that person on site. It's on site. Why you would set your camera to like default to stop motion capture if you just press the record button a fraction of a second too long? What fool thinks that's a good idea? If I press record, I want it to record. If I want stop motion, I will fiddle with my device and manually change it to specifically ask for stop motion. I'm getting angry as I tell this story, Clint. Shame on you for asking this question and putting me in this spot. Game 4, Dodgers could sweep. Eric Vasquez, head of Dodgers Productions, is like, we're going to put a GoPro in the booth. All right, with you and Mo. Great, no problem. Obviously, Did not sweep. Game 5, the Yankees go up 5-0, and I kid you not, I text Eric and I said, "Get this shit out of here! Like we gotta turn the vibes around." So I packed it up. I handed it back to Dwayne. That was right before the top of the 5th inning. Like, just a pure coincidence. That had nothing to do with the outcome of the game. I just want to say that now. Just coincidentally, end of the 4th inning. Sick of this. Take it, Dwayne. Eric's going to come pick it up. Top of the 5th happens. Nobody covers first. 5 runs, tie the game. Eventually, take the lead. And then I look up in the 8th inning. I'm like, Eric, hey, do you want me to set this thing up? And he's like, yeah, but you're going to have to do it because I'm downstairs, getting ready. And I'm like, fair point. That's fine. I went to a film school. I majored in this. I can set up a GoPro on a mini tripod and press play. I can do that. Or
No,
so
you
I
can't.
thought. So, boom, set it up, end of the game. Well, we, have this dramatic call with Mo, just like the emotions of a World Series championship, yada, yada. Another organizational oversight, which, again, I can joke about it now. The Dodgers flew everybody out to New York, all the employees. For whatever reason, they had me on the first plane out. So, I'm getting a text from the travel, not the Dodgers travel, because it's like the HR department, and they're like, "Hey, everybody on plane 1, meet at the bus right now." I am on the air in the postgame show, downstairs to David Bassett, getting soaked with champagne, whatever it is. I had to run from the booth to the bus to make sure I could get on a plane back to LA. So I'm running through the bowels of Yankee Stadium, like, "Steven, you coming in to celebrate?" And I'm like, I wish I could. Never been a part of something like this, but I got to go catch a bus. I'm on the bus, and Eric texts me, goes, "Ha, ha, ha, ha. Dude, you recorded in stop motion." And my entire body melted into the bus seat. No, and bless Eric's heart, he edited it with the camera clicking sound effect to try and save it. So brutal. Jump ahead to Kershaw's night. Again, they set up a camera in the booth, and then after the game, I get a text from Eric, and he goes, "Hey, you didn't F this one up." So
it's great.
That's
my word.
Yeah.
That's stressful. Before we let you go, let's actually talk baseball. What are the Dodgers doing at the deadline, Nelly? I need to know. I need the 411 immediately. What do they need?
Well, the only one that I feel comfortable saying for sure is a right-on-right reliever, meaning a righty that specializes in getting right-handed hitters out, a la Evan Phillips. You're not going to get Evan back this year. You want to say, hey, you're going to get Blake Trinan back. You're getting Michael Kopech back. And there's a shot you get Bazooka back. Maybe. Right? And so I think a right-handed reliever is probably at the top of the list. That's really hasn't been a secret. But that was going back to really the beginning of the year, even when they had, more guys stocked in the cupboard. So now it just seems a little bit more important and urgent, especially because the bullpen of late, you could tell it's tired. I mean, Lou Trevino's the new Luis Garcia. They're just leaning on him. But from the right side, it's like Kirby Yates, who's a veteran, back 9 of his career, and then it's Ben Casparis, Lou Trevino, and Will Klein. And Will, you like his stuff and his potential, but he just doesn't have that experience yet. So right-handed reliever for sure. I've seen the stuff about the reports out there about the package with Cleveland and whatnot. But Alanna, I mean, you covered this front office regime for longer than I've been around. They do not enjoy the trade deadline at all. They don't want to play these inflated prices and the Dodger tax that, frankly, it probably exists.
It definitely exists.
And especially if you're going to be dealing with the National League team. So,
So you don't think that Zach Gallen or Merrill Kelly's coming to LA?
Yeah, or like honestly, even like a Ryan McMahon. Like I saw our dear mutual friend Greg Amsinger drinking his Gregorita, talking about Ryan McMahon to the Dodgers, and I don't know. And the great news is that Max Muncy's ahead of schedule. Like again, we go from thinking, hey, done, to now coming back, but he's not going to be close to 100% the rest of this season. That is for sure, and he may be feeling it in the next year. And so you can't just lean on him, though it has become very evident that when the Dodgers were telling us when Max Muncy was in that month and a half stretch of being scorching hot, Max Muncy's carrying the offense. Little did we know he was literally carrying the entire team. And so I do think this is a time to give Muncy his flowers. Just as a Dodger, what he's done in his career, it really is remarkable. Yeah. And like being a guy who just went out of his way to take less money to stay. What he meant to the clubhouse last year, and kind of he and Mookie, leading the charge, with the playing and bonding in the postseason run. Like, give Max his flowers. But the fact that you're going to maybe get him back is good. Hopefully, Freddie's, back sooner than later. This would be a good run rate for Dutton rushing to get some consistent ABs against major league pitching, which would be good. But the only one that I feel comfortable saying is a right-handed reliever. Anything else that kind of presents itself in the next couple weeks will either be a bonus, or B, like this rut that they're in has lasted up into the trade deadline. I do think, like, more than anything, that they need a spark. They're not having fun right now, and obviously losing, it's hard to have fun when you're sucking, right? When you've lost 10 to 12 games, like, you're not going to enjoy things. But whether it's Mookie Betts or specifically, Mookie's probably the poster child for this, but I'm not seeing the joy from these guys playing baseball. Yeah. And these aren't dudes that you've ever had to question that. You know what I mean? Like, that was part of the reason why they're so beloved, and why, I want to show Mookie a clip of my son. Like, the play he got thrown out inexplicably trying to stretch that double into 3 against Houston. My son's in the stands and everyone's booing, and my son is just like, it's his favorite player. And it's like, it's because he loves Mookie, the way Mookie plays. And, and it makes me sad that Mookie's forgotten that. So anyway, that's what I really want to see this next week. And then, the trade deadline stuff, it's going to sort itself out. But I definitely think the bullpen's going to have a different look, the stretch run.
Hey, it helps a team out a whole bunch in more ways than one if you go and beat the Twins, because they have a couple of players maybe that would look good in Dodger blue, and also it would really help to get off the schneid. And they got the right guy on the bump today in Shohei Ohtani getting the baseball. But Steven Nelson, we appreciate the time as always. You are the man, and let's get you back in here real soon. Ideally with both of you guys having better internet, though.
Yeah, honestly,
it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah, well, Riz looked great. Like, I looked like I was like filming through a potato the first couple minutes of my interview.
It's all good. We're here for the content,
which might have been an upgrade for the viewers at home. But anyway, I always appreciate being on with you guys. We'll do it again soon.
Yes, sir. That is Steven Nelson. We'll be back.
Thank you,
guys. We'll be back in a second after last licks.
All right, guys, let's introduce you to Rax, R-A-X-X. This is a boy that was at the Downey Animal Control Center in California, and they were going to kill him just for space. He is severely emaciated because he was not well taken care of, but he is the sweetest dog. I've posted videos up of him on our social media platforms. He is so well-mannered. He walks unbelievable on a leash. He is sweet-tempered. He's going to probably be a pretty big boy. He's tall and he's long. He's very, very skinny right now, so we need to fatten him up. I can certainly help him with that, give him some of my weight. He is such a good boy. He is in need of an adopter, and we definitely need some donations in terms of treats. Please check us out, Guidry'sGuardian.org. If you're interested in adopting Rax, please do so. We would love it. He is being fostered in Thousand Oaks right now, but needs a forever home. He's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome dog. Belgian Malinois. Do your research. They're high energy dogs. excellent dogs, but they definitely need to be mentally and physically stimulated. So check out Rax.
We got a lot of good boy as well. Good boy.
He's a lot of good boy. He's a big boy. A lot of good boy.
Hey, Riz, you got anything on your mind when it comes to baseball? I mean, obviously, as a final thought here before we head out, talked a lot of Dodgers here. You already mentioned
you got to beat the Twins. You got to beat the Twins to take 2 out of 3. And how about, this is my thing, how about Rich Hill being called up by the Royals? Rich Hill is 72 years old. And what did you say that Dick Mountain rises slow? What did you say?
Yeah, say, look, he's older. People get older. It takes a little while to get going, but Dick Mountain rises to the occasion.
Dick Mountain is back with the Kansas City Royals. Good for you, my friend. He lives right down the road. He and his wife Caitlin live in Milton, Massachusetts, but now he's apparently going to be a member of the Kansas City Royals.
Just we all had it in our baseball bingo card. 700-year-old Rich Hill pitching for the Kansas City Royals, just the way you draw it up. But guys, I think that's about it. We've had ourselves a heck of a show here. Always appreciate Steven Nelson. Good stuff there. Just good vibes from the dude.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Always. He loves what he does. What's coming up on your show before we say goodbye?
So we did a show, myself, Jeff Snyder, we did a show this morning, kind of a therapy session. Tomorrow we are going to do our first, not our first, but a real official trade deadline rumors special, all of that kind of stuff, the things we think people need to know and what we hope the Dodgers do at the trade deadline. So that will be coming up on the All Dodgers YouTube channel tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully we have a Dodger win under our belt because that would make us all feel a lot better. It would also make us feel better. What do you got?
You and I have a post-game show tomorrow. So let's do the Dodgers territory post-game show after a win in game 2 of the series against the Minnesota Twins. Clint and I will be back tomorrow night. Don't forget, guys, like us, subscribe, all of the things. Go to DodgersTerritoryShop.com, and Clint and I will be back with you tomorrow for post-game. Appreciate you as always, guys. Go Dodgers.
Bye.